Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Prowling Around. Really excited for this one because I think for the first time, or one of the first times, we're gonna have some guests on the channel today. We're gonna have Andrew Yonke, our CEO and the owner of Chicago Music Exchange, as well as Daniel Escauriza, who is our vintage manager who gets us all these cool guitars. I thought it'd be cool to talk to those guys about some specific guitars here in the vault, which are part of Zac Brown's guitar collection that we are consigning. So stick around to the end because we're gonna talk to those guys and get some kind of inside baseball on the guitars in this room. But first, what I wanna do is go downstairs because we picked up some super awesome guitars, both at the counter and at the Nashville Amigo show. Those guitars are still getting processed. Some super awesome gems, so let's get to it. Okay, we are going to start off very, very big, ladies and gentlemen. It's a 1952 Fender Telecaster, affectionately known as the Blackguard. Oh yes. Yes, yes, yes. This one has come to us on consignment. Oh, the neck is just so good. It's got a slight V to the neck, which I absolutely love. Got the ashtray. Of course, you have those beautiful flat pull pieces. It has been refretted, I know that. It's got a new nut. The wiring has been changed to a modern wiring layout, but you could of course change it back to original if you like, although most people prefer the modern layout. The bridge pickup has also been rewound, but I want to stress that is not a big deal. It is still a 52 pickup. It still sounds like a 52 Blackguard. It just works now the way it should work and the way that Leo intended. This is a really fantastic example. Like I say, came to us on consignment, or comes to us rather on consignment from a very, very good friend of ours who has bought many beautiful vintage guitars from us throughout the years, and this is just another example. These are not super easy to find, especially in as great shape as this. Now remember everyone, we do trade, so if this is something that you have aspired to for most of your life, something that you've always wanted, and you've got some gear that you don't use that you would like to turn into this, let us talk. Up next, we have a 1974 Telecaster Deluxe in natural. If the 52 Blackguard is a little outside of what you can do, no worries, I have you covered. Here you have it, 1974 Telecaster Deluxe. Now here's the thing about this guitar that is very, very special. These pickups. So if you know, you know. These are wide range pickups that were created by Seth Lover. So Seth Lover was brought over to Fender from Gibson, and Fender really wanted to recreate humbuckers, but they didn't want to get sued. So they had Seth Lover design what we now know as wide range pickups, which, like the humbucker, are warm, would be hum free, but would not violate any sort of patent agreement. So the pickups sound fantastic. These are really awesome pickups. I think they're sleepers. Now, as far as changes, pretty much all original with the exception of the nut, which has been changed, and some shielding was added to the cavity, but really cool. I've always loved these. I just think they're the coolest thing. I love witch hats too. Can't go wrong with those. And again, those pickups are just absolutely outstanding. So one we just got in. I know a lot of you love these guitars, so if you'd like it, you know how to find me. All right, you guys, for all you bass players, 1964 Sunburst Jazz Bass. All right, let us see what we have. This one we just got in. All right. Ooh, this is sweet. 64, it should be an L plate as it is. Woo, look at that. All right, so I'm not a bass player, but I love to record bass. It's the coolest instrument to lay down on a track, man. The second you put down bass, it's like, oh, here we go. I do know that the body and the neck have been refinished. Volume pot has been replaced and the wiring has been redone. The pickup leads have been replaced, and there are a couple of other minor changes. It is definitely a player. but what you would want to be original on this bass, which are those gray bobbin pickups, are, as is obviously the wood. So, you know, great opportunity to get into vintage without breaking the bank. Up next, 1961 Sunburst Jazzmaster. Oh man, if you know me, you know I love offset guitars, and the Jazzmaster is one of my all-time favorite guitars. So, this Jazzmaster is actually part of the John Oates collection. So we have actually had this one for a little bit, but I wanted to highlight it because I don't understand why I have it. Let me just tell you this right now, you guys. This is a consignment piece. If you want a pretty much all original Jazzmaster, and without going absolutely nuts, because as you know, this market has gone bananas. But if you're interested in this, make me an offer. Let me know what you're thinking. Make me an offer and I'll go to John and see if he wants to take it. But this guitar, pretty much all straight, Mustang bridge has been added. There are some dents on the body that have been touched up, but who cares? The most important thing is that most everything else is original, namely these pickups and the pots. So he bought this guitar because he was a huge fan of Curtis Mayfield, who played Jazzmasters, and he just had to have one. And I just think that's a really sweet story. It's very minty, it's beautiful, I love them, and it really needs a home. So if you've been looking for a Jazzmaster, vintage Jazzmaster, let's talk. And again, if you want to trade, we can trade, and we are open to offers, okay? I'm open to offers, so let me know what you're thinking. Ooh, yes. Okay, everybody, this is so cool. This is something we just picked this up at the Nashville Amigo show. Rickenbacker 365 Capri Mono 1959 in Fireglow. Here you go, everybody. 1959 Rickenbacker Capri OS. So why is it called OS? OS stands for old style, which means it has a flat top. It's a 365 because it has two toaster pickups as well as the vibrato. Now, I believe, if I'm correct, that this would eventually be considered a deluxe because of the appointments. And by that I mean it is bound both body and neck, and it has triangular inlays as opposed to dots. So in a nutshell, this would have been the Cadillac from Rickenbacker at the time. Another thing is that it is mono and it is not stereo. Very cool example, and pretty much all original with the exception of the nut, which has been changed. So if you love Rickenbackers and you love the history of Rickenbackers and you love a guitar that also plays really great, I got it. Listen to this thing. That's amazing. You know, you all listen. 1959 is when this guitar was built, and it is still a functioning tool that you can make music with. I love the craftsmanship. It's a beautiful thing. So someone needs to get this one. Someone needs to get this one fast. All right, you guys. Hey, listen, I'm gonna totally admit ignorance here, but this just looks cool. Jackson Soloist 1985 gray. Okay. Admittedly, right now I'm going to tell you I am not the most knowledgeable on these guitars, but I know a lot of you love these guitars, and I know, well, it's from 1985, which is a very cool era. All right, let's get into it. First of all, this Soloist is minty. You guys, I can't see a single chip, ding, nothing. For a 41-year-old guitar, that is pretty darn wild. I know that the tone pot has been replaced, and I think one of these toggles has been replaced. Looks like it's that one. As far as the Floyd, that is a USA Floyd. For the pickups, you have a J100, both in the neck and in the middle, and then you have a Seymour Duncan Screamin' Demon in the bridge pickup. But aside from that, you guys, this thing is minty. There's a chip here, right? Okay, that's normally where it happens. See there? So you got a chip. Get that to focus. Well, you got a chip right here at the top of the headstock. Pointy headstocks, that's gonna happen. But aside from that, very well cared for, super loved, and feels great, man. So if you want one of these, if you want this one, let me know. Okay, everybody, special treat. These are two new hires here at the shop. Okay, no?
Just gonna let you get it out, man. You've been trying to make this video for 3 days.
I have been trying to make this video for 3 days, and so what I wanted to do is talk to these guys about some specific guitars in the vault because they hung out with Zach and got, you know, some inside baseball on some of them. Specifically, well, why don't we just start first with the Burst. 60 Burst out. We had two. We had a 59 Bigsby. That one sold. And now we've got this guy. So
Yeah, I can't believe that one didn't sell
Immediately.
immediately.
It's amazing.
I thought this was going to be the 1st
I've known
one.
of that guitar since Ed had it. I was around him
Since who
when
had
he
it?
Ed King. I've been around that guitar since Ed King owned it. I've been around him while he has been playing it. I remember at the time when Jason bought Red Eye
You don't have to get close.
that I love that guitar. And as you guys know, I've owned guitars of that same serial range with a top like that.
Yep.
And what's funny is that when I knew that this was coming, I messaged a couple of the Kaiser Soze Burst people about this range. I believe I have some texts where some people in the know were like, oh yeah, there's this serial range that it looks like they had a lot of the same wood that was going through there.
And it's so clearly true because we've had a few now in this range, or we've known of, and yeah, they're similar. They have that similar kind of
super
footprint.
similar.
Yeah.
Super similar tops. I'm told that there's a couple of variations in how the necks ended up coming out, but they look crazy identical in how the paint hasn't really faded and how big the flamey tops are. I hate the word famous owner, but you know, player owner.
Player.
owner.
Yeah.
Tons
And-
of provenance.
Yeah, and
more
I've
tons
seen
than-
videos of Ed talking about this guitar, including a video that I was showing about how he was talking about it wasn't like the main neck for him, and he was going to sell it. He kept it till he died.
Right.
Like years prior, he had talked about how it wasn't totally his neck profile. He never sold it.
But then
like,
he probably kept looking
he
at
just
it.
kept playing it.
Oh,
And then
God, I
there's like a
can't sell it.
video of him where he's on local Tennessee affiliate television.
Yeah.
That's the guitar he plays the whole time.
That's right.
Like they're in his house.
This cake is terrible.
Yeah, 100%,
this is the
100%.
worst cake ever.
And he's playing that guitar the whole time.
Yeah.
As the other guitars were just sitting around him. So, but yeah, killer guitar.
So
Obviously, it's well documented on the internet about how Ed believed that the 59 harnesses were sonically superior. So he put one of his, Arad 59 harness in the guitar.
And by the way,
thing
when
is
you look
crazy.
at that harness, it is a 59. It just looks right because it is. It's a 59 harness that he put in there because he really, really wanted. He believed that sounded different, and that's what he put in there.
And he's a guy that might know a few things about the
Yeah.
sound of things.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Correct.
Maybe a couple
Correct.
things about the
And-
sound of things.
Again, as we've wholeheartedly documented, like that guitar is used. It lived in the studio at Southern Ground. It was used on records. It's an incredible guitar with, the last 3 decades, I think, of known ownership.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, like we've also documented, I wanted to clip the ad and use it online, but we didn't. It was used in period where they took the guard off and they put 59 knobs on it, and it was used because of how big and cool the top is in period ads in Hamilton guitar stands, and I forget the other one. But I think it's on Burst Serial, BurstSerial.com. I think it's BurstSerial.com. They have the actual photos of this guitar in ads, in period. And then also, they have decades of this guitar documented in photos, in period, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
super cool.
The ownership matters too because these guys had access to whatever they wanted.
Well,
And it's like if the guitar
quote-
didn't do the thing,
the
they
quote
would never
is
own
already
it.
out there. Zach already owned a Burst. He already had that killer 59.
Yeah.
Did not want to buy another guitar.
Yep.
And said, I will regret this for the rest of my life if I don't buy this guitar.
All right, let's talk about this 54 Strat. This thing is ridiculous because it is all original, and it's very odd to not see plastics that have eroded over time.
It's not that it's odd. It's that you don't ever see it.
You never see it.
I've never seen it that
No.
correct.
Remember we had a 54 that they had taken 57 plastics and swapped them.
Yeah, these plastics were brittle to begin with, and as they age, and obviously as you play on them, you even touch it with a pick eventually, and exactly. This is what commonly
And for
happens.
those of you that don't know, you should be able to tell them this. I'm sure DA will add some B-roll, but it's completely obvious when you see era correct to 54 plastics in the bakelite and in the knobs, how different they are from when swapped. And you can even see in this guitar where he's holding on for dear life to try to keep the original, but he's already had to swap. This is another 54.
Yep.
But I mean, we've never had one this clean. I don't know outside of a museum piece where you could see one like that. Used, not so much.
Right. Closet classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
Ultra
Really?
heavy aged.
Yeah.
We should talk about this. This, and this was one of those things where Zach was excited. Before we opened the case, he was even like, hey, did you see that Languedoc? Have you seen that Languedoc? And between us three girls, in the moment that he said that, we've been going through so many guitars and cases that when he said Languedoc, I literally had to be like, what's a Languedoc? Like I had like a brain fart for a second. And then the second the case, I go, oh, and then we got to digging. This guitar, when he first acquired it, which is some years back, and you can see how crazy clean that thing is. He bought it because he had heard. And obviously with Trey and what Trey was doing and the sounds that Trey makes, he had heard about what you could do with it. And with Zach, it's always about, there's a tool to it. There's a use. What kind of sound does it make? What does it do? Clay, another member of Zac Brown Band, had his use of it. I think it was a studio thing, and then was going to sell it. And Zach was like, no, you're not. No. And then Zach got it back. That's how he ended up getting it, was again, because he had heard all these cool sounds and things that you could do with it. And he's a huge, and you know this from spending time with him, the artisanship of things, the quality of the build, the woods, so on and so forth. And so this is such a pinnacle of all of those things that for him, it was a really cool piece to him.
Because you said that he had a wood guy. Was that right?
Oh, yeah. Very much so. They got super close, a very close friend of Zach's, and it was all about those woods, and he would take them super serious. I mean, in all the Z Brown guitars that we've had, you can tell how intentional the wood choices were.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, again, this was kind of like a pinnacle thing of what someone can do with an electric guitar, and he never got rid of it, and he's had it for a long time. So, again, this was one of those where the people that know, and they need to see this one for how nice it is. And obviously we have the letter and the cert of when he got it. So, and what did you want to do? You wanted to route it for a third humbucker?
I think it needs more tone.
Oh, okay. That's,
But
you
one thing
heard it
worth
here
mentioning
first.
is that if you do buy this guitar, it does include the white gloves.
You get the glove.
Yeah.
a set.
You get the glove.
An entire set.
You get the glove, everybody.
of gloves.
You get the glove.
Okay. These painted guitars.
Yes.
So we withheld these initially in the launch because we wanted to wait and talk to the artist, get quotes, and get confirmations on some things. So Louis Markoya was Salvador Dali's apprentice. Well documented. Go to Lugal. You can read all about it. Zach is a huge Salvador Dali fan. Friend of a friend was introduced to Louis. They got to talking and working together. Zach's had album covers done by him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Other artwork done. The most recent record, Love and Fear, that is Louis's work. But this one, he said, you know what I'd love to see? If you're willing to, I'd love to see what you could do on the medium of a guitar. And so he sent him, I think it was initially 2 guitars. And we have the quotes online, and I talked to Louis about it. Black hand-painted one is the first one that he did for him.
It's got ants on it. That's I didn't.
Yeah,
and
Yeah, right here.
Zach's face. Hold it right there.
It's got Zach's face on it.
You don't know it
Oh, it's
until
right
you
here.
know it. Yes.
Oh.
And so he wanted to stretch it a little bit. As you can see, he added the material so that the clock would flow over. And this is an homage to a specific Dali piece that has to do with time. And I feel like an idiot that I can't remember the name right now. So I'll deal with the fact that I'm an idiot.
Persistence of Time, or is that
It might be
Anthrax album?
Persistence of, it is an Anthrax album. But you're not far off. Yeah, it's right there. But yeah, I loved it right away because of all the little detail
It's so
on it.
crazy, yeah.
But this is the kicker.
Huh.
The proceeds from the sale of this guitar go to Camp Southern Ground, go to the benefit of Camp Southern Ground. So it was big for Zach that he wanted people to see and for Louis to get the exposure on this medium for having painted guitars, which takes us to the other 2 painteds that we have.
By the way, these are, just for the record, they are actually Steven Stern.
Yeah, these were not just random guitars chosen. They were great actual instruments that were done. The second guitar, which is the one that he's bringing,
That's my favorite. I love that.
Louis wanted to do straight up a Dali piece. And so this is no Zac in it at all. This is him doing a Dalí piece on the medium of a guitar. He obviously went to the plexi guard, so you didn't obstruct any of the artwork. It's just straight up Dalí, as you can tell in it. Very cool. Same thing, all the proceeds from the sales of the painted guitars are going to go to the benefit of Camp Southern Ground in the third one. Now, the concept for this one was because Zac's favorite place was Alone in the Woods. And in conversations between the two of them,
I see it.
that had come out. So he wanted to do a piece that could bring Zac there. And then as you can see, Zac is also in it. Change the knob material
So see,
to keep it all there.
where's he at? Just saw him. Oh, there he is, right here. Right here.
Yeah, crazy cool pieces, obviously one of a kind. We have the certificates, we have the quotes from the painter. Would love to connect the new owner of this guitar with him. Very cool pieces, super unique.
All for charity.
Yep, all for charity.
What were the Southern Ground? You said charity?
Camp Southern Ground,
Camp-
Zac's camp.
So that will do it for this episode of Prowling Around. As always, if you are interested in anything that you saw either here in the vault or downstairs, my email is below. Use it. It's there for a reason. I'm happy to help you out and do my best for you. And also, we trade all the time. We also consign. Clearly, we got a whole room of guitars that are all consignments. If you want something that's big, if you want this burst and you're like, I really want it, but I really need to liquidate a lot of gear or some gear or whatever it is to make this guitar of your dreams happen, we do it. We do it all day long. We do it all the time. So use my email below. Let's talk. Let's make it happen. As always, thank you so much to everyone who supports the channel. I really appreciate you guys. This is a ton of fun to do. Honestly, it's the highlight of my week, being able to make these videos and get them out to you. Thank you so much. Love you guys. You're the best. And I'll talk to you soon.
You're hammering on that note.
So third finger for the 11th fret of the G string. Up one more string,
Oh, I kept looking at this, so you're also playing that note.
Yeah, so
on this.
Strange that.